It used to be my worst attack, now it's one of my best ones. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, as you could tell by the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the Blizzard Dragons, an attack that I used to really struggle with, but lately I've been having a lot of success with. So we're going to break it down, much like we did the hybrid, which I'm going to link right up here. We're going to break it down by base, defenses, troop, everything you need to know about it so that you can have a Krum tier hybrid. So let's get into it. All right, let's talk exactly what a Blizzard is and the army composition that I use when I do this attack strategy. So a Blizzard, the Blizzard side of things is a blimp, where the BL comes from. And the half of that, the Izzard, is going to be the super wizard in that blimp. So you're going to request for that in your CC. It has to be in your CC because that's the only thing that can go in the blimp. You're going to take 4 super wizards and 5 barbarians. What those barbarians are used for, or why you use single space troops there, preferably not archers as well, so either barbarians or goblins, is these are going to run around and set off some of those bombs that we're going to talk about later, so that the super wizards don't take that damage. So those are actually really important to do. I've had raids before that I've done in Legends where I've gone in without the barbarians, and my super wizards had ended up dying because of that. If I had the barbarians, it wouldn't have been an issue. So that's the Blizzard. For the troops, now, what you need is 4 invisibility spells as well. So I always take 4. You can get away with 3, however, it's much less safe. If you're going to be doing this in a legend setting, or you're expected to get a lot of value off high hit point buildings, you are going to want 4. Sometimes if you're just doing it for pathing, you can get away with 3. That's very base dependent though. So I go with 4 invisibility spells, and you're going to need 1 rage spell to finish off that Blizzard side of things. You're going to use that rage spell to get those super wizards doing a ton of damage, attacking faster, and getting through those high hit point buildings so they can move on to something else. If they're not under rage, they're going to spend their entire time on something like the eagle, and they're only going to get the chain value to off that eagle. If you're using a rage spell, though, you can take down that eagle, everything they're chained down to, and they'll retarget to something else, so you could get like an additional scatter shot or an inferno, something like that. It's really important to use that rage spell. You want to be using that to the best of your ability to make sure that they get as much value as possible. Now, for the other spells, I do use 2 freezes and then 2 more rage spells. Before the update, we got this extra spell capacity down here with Town Hall 14. I just kept a rage spell in my CC, so I'd use 3 rage, 2 freeze, 4 invisibilities, 1 poison. Now I carry the extra freeze, which is actually really beneficial for the Sui part of things, which we'll talk about here in a second. But that's why I carry that extra freeze. It's a little more versatile than using any other sort of 1 spell space spell. And then again, the extra rages are for the main drag push, and the poison spell is obviously for the clan castle. Those freezes come in handy for single target infernos. Maybe you need to freeze a healer, or you're at the end of the attack and you've got a compartment with an air defense and a couple archer towers. You need to freeze that up to get that extra push, as well as you can use them on the Sui. Next, we're going to talk about the actual troops. I do use this as my general composition, with one exception, the wizards. Notice how that's 8 spell space. A super wall breaker is also 8 spell space. If I had them unlocked, sometimes I do use a super wall breaker instead of those wizards, but those wizards are going to be used for cleanup, maybe some pathing as well. But my standard composition is 10 drags, 10 loons, 1 baby drag, 1 minion, and 1 hound. What we use the loons and the drags for is the main push. The baby dragon is for funneling. I usually help funnel my Sui to a certain part of the base using that baby dragon. And the most important thing is this hound. This is not a hound that you're going to be using with the dragons or the loons. This is what we call a cocoa hound. You're going to send the hound in front of the blimp in order to pull out a lot of the black mines, pull out the tornado trap potentially. And it just protects the blimp a little bit, so the blimp doesn't have any DPS on it, so you can get the blimp exactly where it needs to go. We do the same thing with healers and loons, where you drop a loon in front of your healer so it finds the black air bombs so that the healers don't take the damage. It's the same concept, just a little bit higher HP. And that way you can get the blimp much farther into the base. There have been times where I've flown a blimp almost all the way across a teaser base because I used a hound. Finally, there are the heroes. The Warden is used on the main push with the dragons, but the King, Queen, and Royal Champion are actually going to be used as a Sui, or you place them down with no heals or anything like that. The intent is for them to grab as much value as possible, and you know that they will die. They probably won't make it to the end of the raid. This is really important to use your Sui off where the Blizzard picked up. So if you take out the left side of the base, like the left corner with your Blizzard, you want to either start your Sui at the north or the south part of the base. You want to build off that, and ideally you can take out almost half a base with your Sui and your Blizzard, and that leaves you really good pathing for your drags. Where you decide to Sui can change based on the base. That's something that you learn when you practice this attack, is do you go for more value defenses, or do you need more pathing in a certain situation? This is where you can use some of those free spells. For example, if you can charge your Royal Champion into the core, maybe you can get a core Inferno Tower, a core Scatter, maybe you can grab the Eagle. But you ideally only want to use one of your freezes on the Sui. Other than that, you just kind of let them ride and get as much value as possible. But that is the army composition right here. This is what I go in with every single raid in Legends League. I do it all the time in Legends. But this is what I go in with. You can obviously tweak this army in War to fit the base's needs. But this is the Blizzard Dragon army. Alright guys, let's talk about the defenses when you're looking at the Blizzard Dragons. As you can see on the screen, I moved some of the key defenses that we have over on my base so you guys can better see them. So we've got the Eagle Artillery, we've got the Scattershot, Air Defense, Queen, Royal Champion, and Inferno Towers. So first we have the Eagle Artillery. We want to focus on this defense mainly because it is a key defense in any attack that you're doing, but mainly it's going to do a lot of firepower to the dragons if you don't deal with it quickly. It's very similar to a lot of other attacks. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you've fought eagles before, you know why they're so powerful. They do a lot of damage, and they have almost infinite range on a base. Next, we have the scatter shots. Same thing, scatter shots are a very powerful defense no matter what attack you're going to be using. Specifically for these, they're going to take out the loons that you put in front of your dragons. And even more importantly, on the Blizzard side of things, if you don't drop your invisibility spells in the right timing and you're trying to blizz out a scatter shot, that scatter shot will hit the super wizards and it will destroy your super wizards and effectively end your attack, or you're going to be going into Operation 2-star. The air defense, any dragon attack, you got to look out for these air defenses. They do a ton of DPS to the air troops. They take out your drags really fast if you don't have correct pathing to them. Not something you really want to blizz out, but you want to be aware of where they're at. You don't want to be ending on an air defense that is protected. It can really fizzle out your attacks very quickly. Then we switch gears to the heroes. Both of these heroes are air targeting heroes. They do a ton of DPS. The Queen doing 840, the Royal Champion doing 560 at its current level. These are going to absolutely shred through your dragons. If you've only got 1 or 2 dragons going at these heroes, the heroes are going to end up winning, and boom, you're going in with 10 drags, you just lost 2, you've lost 20% of your army just to these heroes. You have to be willing to rage through these heroes, or at the very least have a large number of dragons going at them in order to make sure that they go down without taking out too many of your troops. And finally, we have the Inferno Towers. Ideally, when you're doing this kind of attack, you want to go into some multi-Inferno and Towers, mainly because they don't have quite as much DPS going through them in their multi setting, only 105, as opposed to starting at 105 at the single and building up and destroying these dragons faster. You've only got 10 dragons that you're going in with. That number can fluctuate based on the army composition you're using. But if this Inferno Tower locks onto a dragon without a freeze, that dragon's dead. That's 10% of your army gone. You want to look for multis when you're doing this Blizzard Dragon combination. Last thing we're going to look at quickly before we jump into some replays and then live attacks are traps. Now you see I have 3 traps on here. 2 of them only hit ground, so why are they important? Well, number one, when you're doing a blizzard, you want to be looking for a place to land the blimp where you're not going to find these traps. If you land on a giant bomb, and I know this one's only level 3, and it doesn't do that much damage. It only does 225, but max giant bombs do a heck of a lot more. If you're landing your blizzard onto a giant bomb, it may not be an issue if you have barbarians coming out first. However, if your blizzard is going to be moving throughout a compartment and there's a lot of areas for traps to be, if you do land it on giant bombs and one small bomb, it will be enough to kill your super wizards and effectively end your raid. Or, like I said, you're going to be in Operation 2-star mode. These traps are actually pretty key to look at when you're doing a war attack. Figure out where these might be so you can adjust your blizzard area accordingly so that you don't lose it. Sometimes it's better to blizzard a base where you may not get as much high value or as many buildings, but your blizzard is going to be safe from these traps. Again, it's base dependent. You never know. Sometimes it's worth the risk, but it's just something to be aware of. And finally, the tornado trap. Again, a trap that is, it can end a raid in any sort of attack strategy that you're doing, but you want to be aware of this tornado trap specifically because if your blimp gets caught in it, you will have to change where you're going to blizzard. Part of what makes somebody a good blizzard dragon attacker is even if their blimp is caught in that, they are able to make do with what they have, get some value out of those super wizards, and make the best of a bad situation. You need to be aware that at any point, your blimp might hit that tornado. Sometimes the Cocoa Hound that you drop will be enough to find a tornado and can kind of take some of that time off of it for your blimp to still get through. However, sometimes that's not the case and your blimp gets stuck. It's something to be aware of when you're doing this, and it's good to practice getting your blimp stuck in that tornado so you don't freak out when it does happen. All right, guys, we're going to break down an example here of what I had in Legends League last night on stream. So when I found this base, the first thing that I noticed is that this is an excellent base, wow, English, for a blizzard. Now, why? Remember when we talked about traps on where traps could be? You notice that there's not a ton of place for traps outside of this section here, and maybe there's like some small bombs in here. But you notice other than that, this space, you really know where all the traps even possibly could be. There's probably either Teslas or giant bombs right here. So that would be a place to kind of avoid. Now you notice I am using a hound as a Cocoa Hound. So hounds always target air defenses. So you notice I have 2 air defenses here and I have 2 air defenses here. So if I were to fly my blimp from this way, so let's say I drop my hound at this, right where the 7 is on this Dark Spell Factory, the hound is actually going to fly all the way to this air defense. So all of these defenses are going to be targeting the hound. So one option is I could fly the hound. I could fly it in, drop it right here, and blizz out all the heroes, the eagle, maybe the scatter, get some of the CC. Same thing goes over here. I could drop the hound and fly in this way. But what I notice is that these compartments here, right next to the town hall, contain a inferno, an air defense, 2 air defenses, a scatter, and the town hall all reachable through here. Not to mention, you notice that there's only room for 2 small bombs. Even if those are spring traps, the barbarians get sprung, not my super wizards. I noticed this last second and quick switched my plan to go after this compartment here. The same exact thing could have been done over here. I tend to usually raid on the left side. That's just a personal thing, but that's what we did. So let's start this raid here and go in. So as you can see, I'm thinking, and I switched. So I dropped my hound, and you notice it's going to fly to the closest air defense right here. See how much damage this hound has taken already? This hound is under half health. This has thousands of hit points. My blimp is full health. This is why you use a hound to tank. So you'll see the shadow of the blimp is where it's actually going to drop. Sometimes the top part of the blimp can be misleading. You have to watch this shadow area to see where it's really going to land. So we're going to fly this in. And you notice I dropped my invisibility before the rage. This is so that I can use the rage through the rest of the invisibility spells. If you drop the rage first, the blimp is still in the air. It's a wasted part of that rage. But because I dropped the rage after the blimp had already landed, those super wizards are getting the max amount of value out of that rage. So now we notice that I've popped the blimp right on the Inferno. It took some damage. The sweeper went down. This air defense up here has already gone down. And the barbarians are hitting the wall. They've done their job already. Whatever happens to them is fine. But these super wizards are also in here. You can't quite see them. But they are going to be targeting all of these adjacent buildings, including the town hall. As you can see, it's already half health from these super wizards. Boom. Town hall goes down. And this poison spell is useless. It's not going to do anything because it doesn't reach outside these walls very far. And now the super wizards have retargeted to this air defense. So they're going to keep going. I ended up taking out the scatter as well. Now, as you notice, the wizard is invisible, and that is going to be the next target. So I dropped this spell a little off center so that I can take out that wizard tower as well. Let's just take a look at this value here. As you notice, there was a trap here. I would have been right to not drop my blimp there. We have taken out this entire section of the base and pulled the CC. So my next step is actually going to be pulling the CC to the corner with this baby dragon and wizard. What this is going to do is it's going to allow me to better deal with it on the edge of the base. Not a big deal. That poison was kind of wasted. I should have waited to drop it right about here. But next comes the Sui portion of this. So now I either have a choice here. I did say to leave or use the Sui where the blizzard left off. So because I took out this chunk of the base, I could either walk my Sui up this way, or I can walk my Sui down this way. You do notice that the air sweeper is pointed directly in from the side center of the base, so I don't want to be fighting that sweeper. So really either way is going to be fine. So let's see what I ended up doing here. I do have to still deal with these ice golems quick, pull them out a little farther. And we drop the heroes up top. So the king actually goes and takes out these ice golems. The queen with the unicorn is going through here. Unfortunately, the king gets stuck on these ice golems, so my queen is actually taking a lot of damage from this single and this inferno, or the single and the warden. And so I ended up sending in my RC. I did use 2 free spells, but it ended up getting a lot of value here. So what I noticed here is I dropped 1 loon to test for black mines and 1 dragon to help this funnel a little bit. And then you use the dragons where the Sui leaves off. So it goes blizzard, Sui, dragons. You want to keep those all in line and going together, and you'll notice that everything is going to path right through this base now. The king is going to get all this trash along the bottom, being that he still has his ability. And now it's just a matter of spell placement. I have 2 rages and 1 freeze left. So we found the tornado trap right here. It's kind of a bad tornado. An early warden ability, only to get through this single target inferno, this scatter shot, and then I rage through that as well because everything is invincible. So now at this point, I've only got a couple key defenses left. I've only got this section with the eagle and the queen and this scatter shot. If those 2 things go down, this is looking pretty good. There goes the queen, another rage spell to go through here, and the eagle is down. So the only thing that can stop this raid is that royal champion, and I have plenty of drags up, a free spell as well in tow. The queen is getting healed up by this unicorn in the corner. And this is an example of where that RC almost won. If it wasn't for that warden, the RC would have killed my dragons. But there we go. We're going to fly through. We take out the rest of this base. The queen actually almost gets healed back up to full health. And that is an example of what I found in Legends. Just a quick breakdown of the Blizzard Dragons. All right, guys, to finish off this video, we're going to do something I didn't do in the hybrid video. And that's I'm going to jump into a live attack. I don't know if this is going to triple or not. This is not an end-all be-all triple, but you guys will be able to see my thought process as I jump into a live Legends raid and hopefully demonstrate how I can get a 3-star. I am rating at about 5450 trophies in Legends, so I'm actually fairly high up. At the end of stream last night, I was about 2,000 in the United States, so I'm definitely up there. I'm not in the highest leagues. But these bases should be pretty legit, so you guys will be able to see that. But without further ado, let's jump in and see what base we get. Okay, so first thing I noticed, sweepers pointed to 12, sweepers pointed down to 6. Air defenses are on the sides of them. That's actually really good for flying a hound in. I think I actually want to try to get a hound into one of these scatter shot compartments here, because then I can take out air defenses, town halls, both the sweepers. So if I can do that, that's huge. And it's actually a fairly easy fly in. So we're going to drop the hound. We're going to drop the blimp behind it. And it's looking on path to just get inside this wall. So remember, invisibility spell, then the rage spell, and now we're going to be able to take out that town hall. They last for 4.5 seconds. That was almost a perfect invisibility spell. Boom, we're still going. And that's my last one, so I hope I get the town hall down. There we go. And it looks like we won't get the scatter, but we did get the RC. But the scatter is weak as well, so that's okay. So I'm actually going to be going in up here, and hopefully I'm going to get into that eagle compartment with the RC and things like that. That would be beautiful if I can pull that off. But let's start the wizard up top, and we'll start the king in right here. We're going to start the queen right here to hopefully funnel that yak. Yes, the yak is going to go in and take out these walls for the king. That's absolutely OP. Let's send in this as well. Where is the CC? All the way at the bottom. So we have to remember that. But we can rage up the king right about now. He'll get through that. We're going to get through this warden. We're going to want to pull out the CC here. There we go. So now we can deal with this CC. Remember, I'm going to start a funnel over here. I need to pick up with the drags where the Sui left off. So here we go with the dragons. We're going in here. We're actually going to drop this poison spell on the super minions to make sure this RC ability can go off. We're going to do an early warden tome, and we're going to rage through that queen. And just like that, because the loons are raged up, they get through that scatter, and we take out the CC all under that tome. A very, very effective Eternal Tome ability. So as we continue to move, the yak is still alive. He's outliving the king right now. Everything's going to start funneling back in. We have plenty of freezes for these single infernos. I am going to rage through this little core section here, so I hopefully don't have to invest another freeze, and I don't on that single. So we're going through, we're pulling everything. The builder huts are only level 2 or 3, not too big of an issue right now. We have 43 seconds though, so I do want to start getting some of this cleanup in as well. I got an achievement actually, OP. I don't remember what that was, I didn't see it, but we have 33 seconds to get through here. It's only going to be a matter of time, if anything, to get the rest of this base. That scatter is weak, remember. So we got to keep everything frozen here and just keep all of these dragons alive. I actually think this is going to be a time fail. But as you can see, this base is absolutely wrecked. We might as well use the queen ability here. Pop through these defenses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got a 99% time fail on that scatter. Had that scatter gone down, we would have gotten it. But that is my live thought process on what goes through on these raids. Believe it or not, in my 8 attacks with Legends last night, we did 8. I had about 4 triples, 3 time fails, and really only 1 fail. So it's a really, really powerful attack right now with these new pets at Town Hall 14. However, you can use this at 12. You can use this at 13. It is just as effective. I was using this at 13 before the Town Hall 14 update. But I hope you guys enjoyed that live Legends thought process. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our video for today with the how to Krum tier Blizzard Dragons. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like down below. Please comment what other attack strategies you would like me to do with this how to Krum tier series. I can do attacks as low as Town Hall 8 if you guys would like. Town Hall is not the issue. Please comment down below what you would like to see. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for me. Turn on those notifications so you can see when I post more videos. If you want to see these kind of hits live, you want to be within that community live, go to my Twitch. It'll be linked in the description. And for all the offline stuff, my Discord will also be down there. I'd love to chat with you guys offline. It's a smaller little Discord community, so I respond to everybody that's in there. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Have a good day, night, wherever you are, and we'll see you in the next video.